All right, let's talk about something that makes a lot of us feel a little anxious. Small talk. But what if I told you there's actually a simple script, a kind of playbook that can turn all that stress into a real, genuine connection? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today.
Okay, be honest with me for a second. You're at a party, maybe a work event, and you're supposed to mingle. Does your stomach do a little flip? Yeah, mine too sometimes. If the whole idea of making conversation with a stranger fills you with even a little bit of dread, trust me, you are not alone. It can be super stressful.
But here's the thing, the big secret, really. People who are amazing in small talk, they weren't just born that way. Nope, they've figured out that conversation has a pattern. It's predictable. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end, just like a story. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to walk through that script, step by step.
All right, let's get right into it. Part 1, mastering the first hello. You gotta get this right because honestly, everything, and I mean everything, from a quick chat at the coffee shop to a super important meeting, it all starts with that first hello.
And the foundation is so simple. You're gonna love this. It's just 3 steps. You greet them, you introduce yourself, and then you get a reply. That's it. It's a simple little dance. And following this pattern just takes all the guesswork out of it, right? It lets you make a solid first impression without overthinking. Okay, so let's clear up something that trips a lot of people up. You know that classic phrase, how do you do? It sounds like a question, but it's not. It's really just a formal way of saying hello for the very first time. So the right answer is just to say it right back. How do you do? Now, how are you? That's totally different. That's a real question you ask someone you've met before.
So, how do you introduce yourself? Well, you can be super direct, like, hello, I'm Sundram, or a little more formal. But honestly, my favorites are these last two. They are absolute lifesavers for that super awkward moment when you know you've met someone, but their name has just vanished from your brain. Happens to the best of us, right? These phrases are a total get-out-of-jail-free card.
Okay, so you've done it. You nailed the opening. High five. But then, that little silence, that moment of panic where you're thinking, oh no, what do I say now? Well, that brings us right to part 2, how to keep that conversation rolling.
The trick here is to have a few go-to topics ready to go in your back pocket. Think of these 4 as your secret weapons: travel, job, interests, and origin. Why? Because they're universal. Pretty much everyone on the planet has something to say about at least one of these. They're the perfect way to get the ball rolling. Let's start with travel. This is such an easy one, especially if you're, at a conference or just in a different city. A simple question like, hey, is this your first time visiting? Can lead anywhere. You could end up talking about their flight, other places they've been, what they think of the city. It's a great opener. And then there's the old classic, so what do you do? Look, it's popular for a good reason. It's a really simple way to find out about a huge part of a person's life. And who knows, you might get into a really cool conversation about their job, their field, or even what they love or don't love about it. Now this might be my favorite. What do you do in your spare time? I love this because it's where you find out what people are really passionate about, It's where you discover the real person behind the job title. Hobbies are an amazing way to find something you have in common and make a genuine connection. And finally, where are you from? So simple, so direct, but it's an invitation for them to share a little piece of their own story with you. You can learn about their hometown, their culture, and maybe even the path that led them to where you're both standing right now. But here's a crucial point. Asking all these great questions is only half the job. The other half, you've got to actually listen to the answers. And you don't have to be super witty or have the perfect response every single time. Honestly, simple things like, oh, really? Or that's interesting, do the trick. They show you're paying attention and that you want them to keep talking. Okay, you did it. You've started the conversation. You kept it going. You're a rock star. But now comes the final boss, the exit. This is where it gets awkward for so many of us, right? How do you get away without being rude? Well, welcome to the third and final act of our script, the graceful exit. Let's look at a perfect example. Well, it was very nice talking to you. We must meet again sometime. See what's happening there? You're saying, I enjoyed this, which is super positive, and you're leaving the door open for the future. It's just so warm, so polite, and it works every time. Now, for contrast, let's look at what not to do. Sorry, I have to speak to that woman over there. She's an important client. Ouch. That is just so abrupt. What you're basically saying is, you are not as important as that other person.
It completely dismisses them and makes them feel pretty terrible.
And that really is the key difference, isn't it? The polite exit makes the person feel valued. The impolite one makes them feel dismissed. It's not about having the best excuse to leave, it's about respecting the person you just spent time with and ending things on a high note.
And there you have it. Just like that, you've got a whole new toolkit for handling pretty much any social conversation with way more confidence. All you have to do is remember that simple 3-part journey. 1, the opening, greet and introduce yourself. 2, the middle, get curious, ask questions, and actually listen. And 3, the end, make that graceful exit that makes the other person feel great. When you follow this simple script, small talk stops being something to be afraid of and becomes a real opportunity. Seriously, every chat is a chance to learn something, to share something, to make a real human connection. So now that you have the tools, the only question left is, who are you going to connect with next?